Under old business, I will call a public hearing to order. We have 3 items tonight. Our first item is A, consideration and action on second reading of special events ordinance. If you bear with me, I will read just the opening paragraph. An ordinance to amend the code of the City of Snellville, Georgia, Chapter 6, Article 1 and 4, governing alcohol, to establish requirements for consumption outside of a licensed establishment and to provide for buy-and-drink service in bottle shops. The chair recognizes Mr. Tom Witz for the purpose of the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move that we adopt this ordinance as it's written. Basically, what we're doing is we're going to be in the same position as the rest of the county and the surrounding municipalities, where if we have an event, for instance, Grayson has a Blues and Brews. The city of Lawrenceville has a Rock and Rib festival that they have, and it just offers us another opportunity to bring people downtown for another event, and to offer the city's facilities to someone who wants to have an event like that. Nothing more or less than the rest of the municipalities in Gwinnett do, or that Gwinnett County itself does.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second on Mr. Witt's motion?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Warner. Mr. Witz, seeing you've given your speech, you don't need to speak.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Saves us time. Mr. Warner?
I'm okay. Let's move ahead.
All right. Are any other council members wish to opine on this council?
My concern the whole time has been the word bottle shops, and I know on page 3 there's been a definition of bottle shops engaged in license for retail package sales. And I know city attorney has previously advised us about taking care of. Can you just explain to us how that's been addressed? Because we currently don't have bottle shops in the city of Snellville.
Right, we have a proposed change that would add that definition to the classification where the bottle shop actually exists.
And so when will that come in front of us? Or
It goes to the planning commission first. So it's on the way, this is drafted and has met staff approvals.
Any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So in the meantime, what happens if somebody comes under this section 6-122 bottle shops? They
Probably
not until we pass
yeah,
that? Okay.
Yeah, notice that place.
Any other questions? Mr. Spock?
I don't think I have a question. I read the ordinance and I've done some research on this, and I've made some diagrams. I got some information from the CDC and DOT, and just simply speaking, I probably not going to support this ordinance tonight. My position publicly on utilizing or selling alcohol in closed containers, open containers, or whatever the case may be in the city has not changed since last year when we did on other similar methods. So I cannot support this tonight. Now I have some numbers, and it turns out that it's pretty effective. I have not done a whole lot of research on this, but it says every day almost 30 people in the United States die in motor vehicle crashes that involve an alcohol-impaired driver. The numbers are very significant. This amounts to about 1 death every 48 minutes. From an economic burden, I want to research that too. It turns out it costs us nationally about $51 billion to deal with this situation, and it's a great numbers. The people that actually get affected are quite few. The ones that don't drive and bystanders. The chart's right here. We'll put it on here and show it to the population. My summary. I'm not going to read all that. But my summary that I'm confident that our citizens are well educated on this matter. My fear may come true, however, when the rush is on and one needs to capture the excitement of attending several events at a time, and that way we can possibly become statistics, and that's what we make the news. So therefore, I am not going to support a statistics that are going to show that we maybe are contributing to these number of deaths. I can, once Erica puts that on there, I can explain further on that one. In 2009, there's 10,839 people were killed in alcoholic impaired driving crashes. Just simply, some of them were standing by on the sidewalks. No less, they weren't doing anything. So I have a problem with this. Although that the chart that you're going to see has some positive numbers on it, I see a trend that these accidents are actually diminishing a little bit. So you can see on the screen in front of you that since 1982, we had roughly around the 800 mark of accidents that were all alcohol related in the state. Worldwide it gets a little crazy, but therefore I just focused on what you see here is in the state of Georgia. 800, and as we go down to 2008, 2009, the numbers are coming down. That's simply because of the enforcement that we have put forth, seat belts, etc., and the law. And I'm sure if we ask the chief and ask him how many drunk driving tickets we had in the past month, I'm sure there'll be a few in the city of Snellville. This chart by itself shows you that in 2008 we did drop. 2009 it's not available. CDC promised that they'll email me that information, but once I get it, I'll be more than happy to share that with you. That's my stand on this tonight, and therefore I'm not going to support this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Spall. I will now open the floor to any public comment. Any citizen wish to speak on this matter, I will need your name and address, and I will need to limit it to 5 minutes. Please come forward and be recognized.
Martin Beers, 1749 Richmond Road. I just have a question about, the permit fee, $1 per square foot or 2,000, whichever is greater. Is this in line with other cities and towns?
It is. It's a common practice. It's not necessary, it's not regulated, but it's consistent with the other cities.
And that would be the square footage of the designated area?
Yes.
Okay. But we're capping it at 2,000?
It's really the larger of those two numbers.
Right, and there aren't other cities that are trying to do more?
Yeah, the minimum is 2,000, and so, but it's not capped at that. It's,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it can be more than that.
Good. Thank you.
Any other citizen wish to speak on this matter? I'll need your name and address for the record.
Dave Emanuel, 1313 Temple Johnson Road. I disagree with Mr. Zavaz's figures. I did some checking, had Chief Whitehead send me some figures on the DUI arrests since July 25th, 2010, when Sunday sales were passed. And in the time period from July 25th through the end of the year, there were 5 DUI arrests in 2010. There were 9 in 2009, and I believe there were 8 in 2008. Total arrests for Sunday DUI actually went down after Sunday sales were passed. So I think to say that everybody who drinks is going to be a drunk, I don't think holds water, and I think you have to look at some real numbers in Snellville. What happens in other places may not be relevant.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else wish to speak?
Greg Anthony, 1824 Dogwood Court. I have, this man just left here, he said, we're going down, and I think the general public is getting to the point where they're not tolerating the heavy drinking. And as far as somebody gonna get drunk, they're gonna do a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, whatever, and they're gonna go out and go buy beer, alcohol, whatever they drink, regardless of what day of week it is. It makes no difference to them when they tip the bottle and say, here's to you. I don't care what day of the week it is. So as far as standing up and saying, we can't sell it to them, all you're doing is just gonna take it out of Sunday and you're gonna put it on Saturday and on Monday. They're gonna buy it if they wanna get drunk. We are not gonna stop them until we just throw the key away, the cuffs away, put them in there and get your judge to back us up. But this is gonna be one of the things. You cannot ask the police department to do everything if the judges alone won't help you. If they come along and say, well, he was a good boy and he didn't do it last week. Well, that kind of malarkey is old, smells, and it's bad news as far as anybody that wants to stand up and argue for him. I have no feelings for him whatsoever. And I think this is the general opinion of most of the people. They may not stand up and speak, but I don't know anybody nothing. That's the way I feel.
Thank you, sir.
Dennis Lawton, 3041 Elton Ridge Way. The whole point of this ordinance, the way I understand it, is to give the city an opportunity. And that's what we should be looking at. I'm not disagreeing that the statistics that Mr. Spa has presented or anybody's presented are inaccurate. But what we've got to do is, if we're going to be competitive in this day and age, we've got to look at what the opportunities are for what other cities, what other communities are doing. And so we've made a decision a little while ago to go to a town center. I attended that. We look to the future. So we've got to look to the future. We may not have anybody come up and use this ordinance because of other circumstances. But if you don't have it on the books, you'll never have the opportunity to say, well, we could have, should have, and didn't do it. So I look forward to the fact is that we are giving the opportunity to this community to look to the future. And that's what I've always said. We've got to look to the future for this community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll close public input on this. I believe it's the wish of the council to vote on this matter. All those in favor of the motion to approve the special events ordinance signify by raising the right hand. That is 5 in favor. Those in opposition? Opposition? Mr. Sabah? The motion carries 5-1. The ordinance is approved. Next thing is B, consideration action